Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Virtual reality, by definition, can place us in something as familiar as a childhood memory, or in situations so strange we may never experience them. Today we will spend 24 hours in this virtual world, stepping aboard the most iconic spacecraft known to man. No, not that one. There we go. In VR, there exists a game where users can find new worlds, new friends, and even a new version of themselves. This experience is called VRChat. One of the worlds in VRChat is none other than the Scout, a map from the hit game Among Us now fully realized in three-dimensional space. If you haven't heard about Among Us yet, it's a game that has influenced pop culture so severely that it's completely inescapable on all forms of social media. Everything you know and love is a reference to Among Us. To put the rules of the game briefly, there exist two roles, one as a crewmate and the other as an imposter. The crewmate's mission is to complete all tasks while also trying to determine who the imposter is. This taking place while the imposter attempts to sabotage the completion of those tasks and murder the crewmates in an effort to take over the vessel. To pull off 24 hours in hell, I'd need essential gear. First, a headset. Top of the line, and absolutely doesn't overheat after an hour. Next, to go this long, I'd strap a battery to the back of my head. And that would mostly be it. Almost. For food, I need energy. So I went to the gas station and picked up the best fuel possible. Sugar-free Red Bull. For which I guess I bought two different sizes, which means I didn't get the 2 for $6 deal. I looked back, I lost like 60 cents, which was sucked. And I also got Fiber One bars. This would not be enough. My first game would begin with a stroke of luck. I honed in on my first target, internet sensation Hatsune Miku. Over the next 23 and a half hours, I would have the privilege of meeting Roxy from FNAF, Jack Skellington, the Green Goblin, Baby Yoda, Germa, and even the Subnautica main character. As the timer hit 0, I wasted no time dispatching the pop star for my first kill on the night. Feeling utterly devious, I sprinted off to my next target. I navigated through the eerie corridor of electrical and came across a gray grate in the floor. Giddy with excitement, I took the opportunity. I vented, and it was magical. Every hair on my body stood on end, and I violently shook in euphoria. My climax was only cut off by the emergency button being pressed. Knowing the body was left in weapons, I patiently waited for others to slip up info that I could spin in my favor. I only needed one more kill or another crewmate to be voted off to win.
I think it's Jack.
It must be Jack.
I think it's Jack.
Okay. That's kind of based, honestly. Pretty based. Wow.
This is so fucked. After an eternity standing, my feet began to hurt and my tummy began to rumble. I stumbled my way to the kitchen, only made possible by something known as the pass-through. VR pass-through enables the headset user to see a low-quality image of their surroundings, to make moving outside of your set borders possible when necessary. Besides shutting my eyes for the night, this would be my only escape from the Scout. Delirium soon set in. Games began to blend into one another and my relationship with my compatriots would soon sour. No one was above suspicion.
Geek's looking pretty nice.
Ah, white's precise. White's precise. Yeah, a bird precise. And white precise.
One factor I hadn't realized would be so impactful was streaming. When you're live, you open yourself up to the world. Anyone could join to watch my experiment and even my most vulnerable moments. Or more importantly, anyone could join the experiment itself. My emotional state quickly deteriorated.
Elbows and tell us if you're the imposter or not.
I want to squeeze your cheese.
That's the only time I've ever spotted.
Have you heard of Among Us?
Oh, God. Emergency meeting.
Monger? Emergency meeting.
I can't stop staring.
I think my game is slightly broken. I can't move.
Only a third of the way into the night, both my mental and headset battery were critical. I began to prepare for where I would sleep that night. I positioned my webcam so the watchers could monitor my behavior while I was under. With the headset still firmly gripped to my forehead by sticky sweat, I laid up against the window so that I could watch the stars. 7 hours and 44 minutes in, I drifted off to sleep. What I remember about sleeping in the Among Us lobby was how quiet it was. The only noise being the Scout's ventilation system, which felt a lot like sleeping in an airplane.
Among Us.
I also proceeded to touch my penis an excessive amount of times. So much so that my moderator contemplated a phone call to stop their trauma. Thankfully for me, they decided not to, so I could continue my slumber. My cat Blue also ventured into view to greet me, but left when I offered no kibble. After eclipsing hour 15, I opened my eyes for the first time, confirming I was still breathing. I remember vividly that I had not dreamed. The only visual I saw was static, but this was not too different than the normal status quo for me. Ironically, the first thing I did was transfer my eyes from one screen to the other through the hole at the bottom of my headset. Some of my viewers had accompanied me the entire night. Realizing this, I became motivated. I stood up, grabbed my controllers, and began to adapt all over again. Sleep had rejuvenated me, at least for the time being, and I dived back into the games. The final third of my journey flew by. What I noticed were more and more people joined chat and even the game. I'm not sure if they sympathized with the broken man or were just supportive of my determination. Either way, I was grateful. Spending 24 hours of monotony would have been impossible without those who joined along the way. As the hours dwindled, my energy left much faster. I'm not sure if my sleep was more restless than I had thought, but my battery was spent in half the time. I even moved my carpet to make my feet ache a little bit less, but soon I would slouch into my chair for the last leg of the journey. Those hours would turn to minutes, and soon the final game was upon us. It wasn't too different from any of the rounds before, at least not until the last minute. I entered the mess hall to find two femboys dancing all up on a fresh kiln, busting it down sexual style on the poor lad. Begging me to watch, I couldn't turn away. In a trance, they approached me and ended my life for the final time. The 24-hour timer crossed zero, and a rush of relief trumped any animosity toward my pink thigh high wearing killers. We did it. It's over. We did it. Even though we died in the last time. We made it. We made it. We finally fucking...
Oh, that's fine.
24. I took in the environment one final time before finally removing my headset. You guys are about to see my face after 24 hours. Hang on, let's see. Let's see what it is.
This.
It's not even all the way there. It was over. I had spent 24 hours inside Among Us VR.
Bye, Elena.
Good night, guys. We made it. That was it. Basically, after that, I went to sleep, and it was a little interesting. I kind of just felt detached from everything. After being in VR for so long and interacting with so many people, it was kind of weird to not really interact with anyone. You know, just sleep normally. And it was only 24 hours. I can imagine any time longer than this, but it was quite the experience. I think that loneliness kind of went away pretty quickly, though. You know, I was able to game with friends the next day. I went back to work on Monday. You know, things were back to normal pretty quickly. But as you can see, a lot has changed in the last, I think, almost a year since we did this stream. That's how long I've been thinking about doing this video. So I'm glad you guys are finally able to see it. I've moved twice, and it all has to do with this stream. It all has to do with the negative energy from this stream. I needed to get away from that place. I feel bad for the next tenant that has to take over, but it was really fun. It was really fun, and I had so many people along the way that were so supportive, and I couldn't have done it without you guys. So if you want to join those supportive people, here's the plug. You can check me out on twitch.tv/GreasyMech, or you can subscribe to this channel. You'll see a lot more content coming your way. It's been a long time. So I'm excited to get back on the grind, and I will see you guys next week. Take care, guys.
Among Us.
You wanna play Among Us?
Among Us.